Please stand for the national anthem. You keep standing. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. You may be seated. That was our own amazing graduate, Ella Witt. Thank you, Ella. I could listen to you all day. Yes, one more time, Ella. Yeah. Good morning. This is going to be the most interactive, sort of dynamic, fun commencement ever. So I'm going to do that again. Good morning. Yes, thank you. I am Dr. Diane Lynch, the president of Stevens College. Yeah. And it is my privilege to welcome you to the commencement ceremonies for the graduating class of 2021. Yahoo! Yes! Okay, this is a good room. We got this. Before we really begin, I do want to take a few minutes to thank you all for your patience and flexibility as we relocated our ceremony from the outdoor stadium. Planning for a group this size during COVID is really challenging. But out there at the stadium, it's wet this morning and chilly. And I woke up about 5:30 and I didn't have to care, which was great. We looked at this location 6 months ago, actually, and at that time, COVID restrictions were such that we would have had to restrict the number of guests that our graduates could invite, and they were not in favor of that. But it turns out that, yes, yes, yay, right. It turns out that here we are. The world has opened up enough, and the space is now big enough for all of us. That said, we do need to ask you to make sure that you wear your masks. We are socially distanced in pods, I hope, so that you have some space between those you love and know and those you don't know and therefore probably don't love. And so there are some limitations that we all really do need to respect and honor. So I do ask that you continue to do that for us. I also want to acknowledge to all of you who have come here today to celebrate what truly is one of the greatest accomplishments of human life. 29% of people in this country hold an undergraduate degree. 29%. There are lots of reasons for that, but one of them is the fact that it's really hard. It's really hard to do what you have done, to make the commitment and the investment, families, the investment, and to and to have the sheer determination just to get it done. And we all know that as incredible and amazing and hardworking, and this is your moment, and you are Stevens graduates, that you are. You didn't do it alone, right? Nobody does it alone. And this is your moment and your celebration, and we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about that. But it also belongs to all of you. And in particular, I want to recognize the moms. Yeah. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, Tomorrow, and every day, I'm the mother of 4, and every day is Mother's Day. Right? Yeah. Yeah. In the most beautiful, amazing, life-changing, great way, but nonetheless. Mother's Day is the one day of the year when we actually stop and think about the impact and the wonder of the person is who, for so many of us, one of the most important, if not the most important, and influential women in our lives. So today, as we begin this incredible celebration, which is about you, it's also about your moms. That was one of the moms, right? And so I'm going to ask, and I know you're all settled, and I know, but interaction, dynamic, that's us, right? I'm going to ask that you get up on your feet, graduates, and I'm going to ask that you, whether your mother is here in person or in spirit, I want you to give them a standing ovation for everything that they have done for you. And if you can see them, that's great, but the sight line here is a little hard. You can do better than that. Really? This is your mother. Okay. I know you're going to do that over and over and over in your hearts. I will have to admit, I do admit, this morning as I was sitting out in my yard with my dogs, and it was raining, and I was really happy that it was raining. And I looked behind me, and there were these 2 big boxes sitting on my steps, and I was like, what is that about? And then I thought, oh, it's Mother's Day, right? Because every day is Mother's Day, and I've been pretty concerned and absorbed with getting you all in here and you all in here, and I forgot. Let us never forget that every day is Mother's Day. Let us never forget what our mothers have done and continue to do for us. And I would also tell you that if you haven't actually purchased something from Amazon, that's okay, because this is the greatest present you will ever give your mothers. Yeah. And now it's your turn, families. These graduates, more than any graduates in anybody's memory, have been called upon to come up with more resilience. We're going to talk about, you're going to hear the word resilience like 55 times today. Everybody, it's the big R word, but it's true. Determination and courage than anybody had any right to expect of you, of them. And you have risen to every challenge, and here you are, ready to graduate. So I'm going to ask all of you to help make this the happiest, most jubilant, most exuberant, most responsive, most memorable commencement in the history of Stevens College, which is really saying something because. So let's start by giving our amazing Stevens graduates the biggest round of applause anybody ever heard. Yeah, stand up, on your feet. Yoo-hoo! Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! Okay. We love you. Okay. Now I understand where they get how amazing they are. Thank you. We might ask you to do that again later, but you're just warming up. I always say that the celebrations at Stevens are loud and proud. You just did that. Let me begin our formal ceremony by recognizing and honoring those whose service and sacrifice ensure that our nation continues to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. I ask that if there are active duty military and veterans among us, that you stand so we can thank you for your service. Thank you. I'd like now to introduce the members of the platform party who share the stage with me this morning. Dr. Leslie Willey, our Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Dr. Monica McMurray, Professor of Fashion and Faculty Chair, who is serving as our Head Marshal. Please join me in thanking them. And finally, I need to recognize and thank all of the very special people who have made this celebration possible. And it takes a village to relocate a commencement ceremony in 3 days. Stevens can do anything it needs to do. Our accomplished and dedicated faculty, our remarkable and committed staff, and especially the members of the Commencement Committee, including Lita Pistono in the President's office, right? So several of you would come into the office and say, so I came to get my tickets. And Lita would say, did you fill out the survey? And you'd say, I will fill out the survey, right? And somehow or other she managed to make it happen. So thank you, Lita. All of our friends and family, and finally, our graduates. Today is all about you, collectively and individually. This is your moment, your final reward for all of the amazing hard work, which is always true, especially in the spring semester and especially your last one, but also all of those Zoom classes, right? Those Brady Bunch boxes and daily health checks. Come on, it's good for you. Come on. Right. And no guest weekends. Remember those? Yeah. But here you are with amazing stories to tell. Amazing stories to tell. You'll say, well, I was in college. And here you are surrounded by the people who love you most in the world. And we could not be prouder of your achievement. Congratulations. And one more time, there'll be 25 of these, please, applause. Congratulations. And now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Willie, Vice President for Academic Affairs, to the podium.
In light of the lasting impact they have on the lives of our graduates, I would like to recognize all of our faculty for the work they do. In no small measure, faculty have a significant impact upon the lives of each and every student. They have supported you, challenged you, helped you accomplish things you never thought you could possibly achieve. And I'm sure there were many times throughout your years here that you discovered your faculty knew you and your strengths and needs better than you knew yourself. They have invested their time and talents in helping you achieve your goals, and they are also very proud of you today. Please join me in thanking them for all that they do. Faculty, please stand. Yay. Every year, students get to nominate faculty to receive 2 of the most esteemed awards, the Distinguished Teaching Award and the Michael Bowling Distinguished Advising Award. This is an opportunity for students to express their appreciation and acknowledgement for the work of our faculty. And I can assure you that this is one of the greatest honors a faculty member can receive. I would like to recognize the recipient of the 2021 Distinguished Teaching Award, Sarah Lindy Patel, Instructor and Program Chair, Equestrian Studies. Please join me in congratulating Sarah. I would also like to recognize the recipient of the 2021 Michael Bowling Distinguished Advising Award, Kate Bernakine Kogut, Associate Professor and Program Chair, English Creative Writing. Please join me in congratulating Kate. Finally, I would like to recognize the contributions of our academic leadership team. Dr. Julia Moffett, Dean of the School of Health Sciences, and Dr. Trish Parsons, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. These academic leaders provide vision, direction, and support to the faculty and students at Stevens. Julia and Trish, please stand to be recognized. One of the most important tasks in planning for commencement is selecting the commencement speaker. And as we were thinking about a commencement speaker this year, we considered, who would the students love to hear from? Who would offer the best words of wisdom and advice? And who would be most inspirational? And as we were thinking, we realized that you, students, had already determined this. You did this when you selected the Distinguished Teacher Teaching Award winner. So we're starting a new tradition this year. From here on out, the commencement speaker is going to be selected by the students, the recipient of the Distinguished Teaching Award. The recipient of the 2021 Distinguished Teaching Award is Sarah Lindy Patel. Sarah grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, where her love of animals and horses began. She graduated from Stevens College with her BS in Equine Business Management and earned her MBA with an emphasis in equine studies from Midway University. She successfully competed on various levels of the Greater Arkansas Hunter-Jumper Association. A former veterinarian technician for small and large animal practice, Sarah was active on the North Texas Hunter-Jumper Circuit, where she was an assistant trainer at an A-show facility in North Dallas. Sarah has been a faculty member since 2006, a recipient of the 2015 Stevens College Customer Service Award, and is the recipient of the 2010 and now 2021 Distinguished Teaching Award. It is my pleasure to welcome your commencement speaker, Sarah Lindy Patel.
Thank you, Dr. Willie. Well, good morning. Good morning. I'm just honored to be here with you all today. And as we were practicing yesterday, I could not help but just notice all the familiar faces. And it brought me back to 2017 when many of you showed up here and we all took the 10 ideals class. Some of you did, yes. Some of you were my advisees and we worked out all the kinks of your first year. And it got me thinking, some of you may remember my presentation on the Finch when we talked about the ideal of sensitivity. Those of you that might have joined our Stevens family after 2017, we're going to talk about it. So, a few weeks ago, we had your senior toast. And like Dr. Lynch said, you're going to hear a lot about resilience, but I brought up resilience because it's important. It's important for you to remember what you have accomplished during an unprecedented time that none of us have ever seen. I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to happen, and you're going to forget your resilience. I promise you, you're going to forget it. When that happens, I need you to come back to this part of your life. I need you to remember this year, and I need you to remember that you are resilient. But life's going to trick you and tell you you're not, okay? So you think about everything you did this year, especially, all right? God promised me that. You don't get to give up on yourself, ever. Sometimes you feel like it, but you can't, okay? So resilience is something that I have witnessed many times through my involvement with animals, and especially within animal rescue. The animals in my life, past and present, have been by far some of my best teachers. They have transformed my life in ways I could never have imagined, and they have taught me how to genuinely embrace the human experience. They've helped me nurture my gift of sensitivity, and it is through them that I began to no longer feel that being sensitive was a limitation or a flaw. Over the last several years, my husband and I have started to adopt senior dogs. Dogs who find themselves unwanted for a variety of reasons. They're old, they're not as active, they're not as fun. Sometimes an owner passes and no one steps up to take over. We took it a step further and began adopting dogs in need of hospice care. And it was through my journey with these extraordinary old souls that I found myself constantly amazed and surprised by their resilience. Like you, they have survived some of the most overwhelming circumstances. We had a dog that had been so neglected and abused that I feared there was no way I could ever get to his fragile and broken spirit. But much to my surprise, over the next few months, he began to shine. His fear of men was no longer present. He began to wag a tail that had never wagged, and he began to have the most amazing grin on his face. And I was amazed at his transformation and his resilience to survive and to come back to life with such joy and forgiveness. It's through my journey of helping senior and hospice dogs that I overcame my fear of death and dying. I began to learn to live in the moment and to not waste time on the what ifs. I began to find gratitude even on those days when the negatives far outweighed the positives. And I began to realize how the animals that I had been blessed with in my life had always accepted me for who I was, no matter if it was on my worst day or my best day. My sensitive and empathetic nature has always been a part of my character, not just with animals, but I've always been that one who could easily get misty-eyed on a commercial if it hit my soul just right. We've all got those people. Like, why are you crying? Oh, the commercial did it. That would be me. But it was during high school that I remember being singled out for my sensitive nature. And it was in that moment that I felt like I needed to kind of maybe not bring that to the surface. So I kind of hid it. And it was not until I set foot on the campus of Stevens College in the late 90s as a student that I was finally rewarded for being sensitive. I was selected by one of the 10 ideals for sensitivity. And I remember such an immense pride, and I realized that my sensitivity was a tremendous strength. And that moment in my life was life-changing. So it's 2017. We're in our 10 ideals. Let's go back there. And I had the ideal of sensitivity. And I remember asking the first-year class by a show of hands how many of them thought that sensitivity could be seen as a limitation. I asked anyone, had they ever been singled out because of their sensitivity? And I remember not being surprised by the overabundance of hands that went up. And it was at that point that I hoped that my story of the finch would help the students realize that being sensitive is one of the greatest strengths you can possess, and it has the power to change the world. Here is how a small little finch brought me back to my strength of sensitivity. Teaching at Stevens College, busy as all get out, and I had a meeting that I had to get to in the afternoon. So I'm preparing, and I realize I've left an important document at home. So now I look irresponsible. I also have the vet coming to help me with some horses, and I have to be at that appointment, okay? Just setting the scene. But I know that I'm going to get to that house and get that document and get back on campus before the vet even gets there. So I make my way home. I get the document. I'm on the way out the door. God bless, of all the times, the dog is looking at me like, I really have to have a potty break. I'm like, really? Of all the times. So out in the front yard I go, and I am met with the most loud squawking and panic of birds. And I look over at our neighbor's house, and there are these birds just swarming. And lo and behold, there's a finch hanging upside down off the gutter. His little foot caught all up in chicken wire. And I remember thinking to myself, why did you have to see that? And then I said to myself, nope, not your problem. You don't have time for this. This is the circle of life. You got to get back to work. There's more other important things you need to be doing, Sarah. So just get in the car and go. And that's what I did. I got in the car, booking it out the driveway. Do not look to the right. Just keep going. I looked to the right. Birds are gone. Finch is still dangling, trying to get out. There's one finch that has stayed, and it's very quiet, just sitting there with him. So I spring into action. I whip my car up in my neighbor's yard because I have the bright idea that I'm going to stand on the roof of my car and free this finch and then get back to campus on time, and it's going to be great. My plan backfired. Could get nowhere near the finch to get him out of the chicken wire. So when times of desperation, I called my husband. He gets me. He's a saint. He knows how I am. I said, I got to get this finch out. I cannot give this up. Here he comes. We don't have a ladder, so he brings a ladder in tow, frees the finch goes off. Beautiful. All of a sudden, I just realized that I had listened to my intuition of sensitivity. And I realized it had been a long time since I had listened to my intuition of sensitivity. The entire experience became more than just saving a bird. It became a story that I could use to inspire others to find their inner sensitivity. The point of the story of the finch is that at some point in life, we all become the finch. Desperate, struggling, in need of a helping hand or someone to notice that we need support. The question becomes, what do we do when we come across a finch? Are we too busy? What if just one gesture of support, no matter how big or small, helps someone in such a way that it literally is life-changing? The funny thing is that you never know how you've impacted someone through your ability to stop for a brief moment and embrace your sensitivity. Now, I'm not saying that you have to let your sensitivity consume you. Trust me, lesson learned. Because if you do that, you're creating your own monster where you're constantly giving of yourself to help others, and then there's nothing left in the tank for yourself. Not saying to do that, but what I am saying is to open yourself up to being available, to lend that hand when you are able. Because at some point in life, we all find ourselves in the finch predicament. The finch in my story showed tremendous resilience. I watched that bird fight for survival, never gave up. He just needed a little help. Remember your resilience and the tremendous impact that you have on people's lives. You're going to find yourself busy, and you're not going to have time, but you never know when you're going to be the one person that turns someone's life around. So as an equestrian, I couldn't send you off without one little piece of equine inspiration. We're almost done. So I read this beautiful tribute by Michelle Emmerman to the Kentucky Derby winner who beat the odds a week ago today. And it reminds me of you as you embark on your journey. And it also reminds me a little bit of resilience. So here we go. This is the winner of the 2021 Kentucky Derby, Medina Spirit. In a sport where horses can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, this particular horse was purchased for a meager $1,000. He was so unimpressive that he only received one bid at auction. Even his trainer, Bob Baffert, said that the long shot had no chance of winning, and he was expecting another horse to win. None of that seemed to matter to the horse. He didn't care that he was smaller than the rest. He didn't care that his trainer didn't think he could win, and he didn't care that the odd makers assumed he would lose. When the bell rang and the gates opened, he immediately took to the lead and spent the entire race focused on the track ahead, rather than the horses behind him. A meager-looking horse purchased for a meager amount of money made $1.85 million last Saturday. Don't worry about your competition. Just focus on the track ahead of you and show the world what you can do. And so I'll leave you with this. Always remember the finch. The bell has rung. Your gate is open. You are resilient. Don't ever look back. And the world needs you now more than ever. Congratulations.
Thank you, Sarah. Every animal lover in this audience was right there with you, only I would have been like, I don't want to touch the finch. And nobody ever thought you were going to drive away, Sarah, not in a million years. Each year, a senior is chosen to receive the Stevens College Alumni Association Award. The award is given to a student who has contributed substantially to the quality of life on campus and in the Columbia community, while maintaining exceptional academic standing. Please join me in congratulating our 2021 Alumni Association Award winner, Alexandra Lexi Holder. Yeah! One sec. Would Lexi's family please stand and be recognized? You should be so proud. Thank you.
Right. Let's see if I can get through this without crying. I mean, this is my family, you guys. All right. My fellow classmates, we did it! Yes! Get excited. Sorry, I had to be totally basic there, but for a year where everything seemed to get flipped on its head, I feel like we deserve a little painfully normal start to graduation. Although I will say, it does sort of feel like a dream come true to stand up here and say that in the cheesy, quintessential main character movie magic kind of way. And as much as I'd like to have us throw our caps in the air and roll credits in the Legally Blonde fashion that we all dreamed of, I think we may be missing the rose-tinted glasses that ending would require. When I began sitting down to write this speech, I felt completely stumped on what to say. I mean, seriously, after the year that we've had, I just didn't really know where to start. From a global pandemic, a crippling economy, a major election, Black Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, climate change reactions, and the longest, most drawn-out season of RuPaul's Drag Race. I mean, seriously. It felt remiss to sit here and talk about things we had already lived through. We have seen how this country has failed to protect Black, Indigenous, and communities occupied by people of color. We have lived through the trials and tribulations of a global pandemic, losing people we cared about, and experiencing mentally debilitating isolation. We have managed to pass our classes, I'm assuming, since we're all here, despite immense learning curves and communication boundaries. We have lived through these historical events. We have persevered through these times and managed to reach a personal milestone in all of our lives. But these are all things we know. Even though we have survived one of the most uncertain times in recent history, we're leaving Stevens and heading into yet another world of unknowns. A couple of weeks ago, I sat down at lunch with one of my mentors here in town, Elizabeth Palmieri, and I talked to her about my plans for post-graduation. As I told her that I was going to be the commencement speaker and that I more or less had no clue what I was going to say, she offered me a piece of advice. She told me that women can't have it all. Now I, along with probably many others here, am not disillusioned by the second wave feminist ideal that women can have it all, but hearing this from Liz, I was a little taken aback. I mean, this is someone who runs a successful theater company, is active in the community, has a loving marriage, a growing daughter whom she's always there to support, and who still finds time to travel the world. By all accounts, she was someone who ticked all of the boxes of having it all for me. However, as I began to stew on this idea and researching this topic, I began to see what she meant. There was an article written in The Atlantic by Anne-Marie Slaughter that blew up a couple of years ago called "Why Women Still Can't Have It All." Slaughter was, again, someone who seemingly had everything and more. She held a high-level government position in international law, had a husband and son, and lived comfortably in her wealth. She seemingly had successes across the board. However, as she continued to further her career, she found herself being able to enjoy the things outside of her career less and less, leaving her to realize that what society deemed as her having it all was really only dependent on the fact that she held a prestigious job in the male-dominated field of law and politics. Slaughter's having it all had nothing to do with her happiness or personal life. She was struggling to balance important elements, not because she wasn't totally put together, but because she was working in a system that was built against her. In her words, "It is time for women in leadership positions to recognize that although we are still blazing trails and breaking ceilings, many of us are also reinforcing a falsehood, that having it all is more than anything a function of personal determination." Looking into this crowd, I can say with certainty, all of us are determined. There are few things that can stop the resolution of a Stevens woman. But we cannot be fooled by the idea that it is our own personal conviction that will lead or hinder us to having it all. As we leave our home here at Stevens, we must remember we are entering a system that is working against us, some of us more than others. I stand before you as a cis white woman, and I recognize there are privileges that I possess that others do not. It is our job to not only change the system for ourselves, but for others, for trans women and for women of color, for our fellow non-binary students, and for people who will follow us. There's a theory that states that we lead two separate lives before we die. One in which we are overcome with existential dread of being able to do what we're supposed to do in life, finding our purpose, and the other in which we realize that answer does not exist, and we actually begin to lead our real lives. I find myself still in the first part of my life, no matter how much I strive to let go of the questions of, who am I, and why am I here? But as we leave here, my hope is that one day we will stop searching in validation from others in what they determine as having it all, and instead we strive to have what we want for ourselves. Stevens has prepared us. We have taken the classes and earned our degrees. We have not only learned in class, but outside of it. And most importantly, we have learned the value of connections. From 8 a.m. classes to mid-afternoon coffee runs to late-night talks, I have learned how important it is to have people in your life who care about you and who you care about in return. People who learn and grow with you. And Stevens has supplied that team of support for me, and I'm sure many others here. Use this knowledge, this experience, and this team to take on the world. As I wrap up this speech, I want to thank you all for the wonderful memories I've shared here at Stevens, and I hope each of you will stay connected to the college. Just in the way that alumni were a powerful resource to us, we are now also a resource. Stay connected to help students who were like you and advocate for them. Continue to educate each other and hold one another accountable. And remember to continue rewriting the definition of what it means to be a Stevens woman with future generations. Finally, I'll leave you with the best piece of advice I received here in my time at Stevens. In the words of Michael Burke, leave every space better than you found it. Seriously, on your way out, make sure you pick up your trash. We have another commencement at 3 p.m. today. Thank you all for the wonderful memories we've shared, and here's to making more. Congratulations, and I can't wait to see what we accomplish, class of 2021.
That was awesome. Thank you. Everybody remember what she said. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Morgan Puckett, Student Government Association President. Morgan is, cheers. Yeah, Morgan! Morgan is receiving her Bachelor of Science in Biology with a minor in Chemistry. She has a heart for animals, like Sarah, and we are the pet-friendliest campus, and is aspiring to pursue a career as a veterinarian. Morgan also values being active on campus, as we all know, and she manages to hold an executive position on the Stevens College Chemistry Club Board, as well as the Stevens Student Government Association. She's also the president of the Tri Beta National Biological Honor Society. Would Morgan's family please stand to be recognized? Yes. Please join me in welcoming Morgan to the podium.
All right, anyone else want to puke? Just me? Okay. Let me find. There we go. Okay. Thank you so much, President Lynch. My name is Morgan Puckett, and I've had the pleasure of being the class of 2021 student government president. Like it's been said many times before, I know that this year has not been easy on absolutely any of us, parents included, and family. But I can see that we have made it as I look into this crowd, because like everyone else sitting here, we are getting our degrees. That's why we're here. But I did just want to take a moment of silence because, and I'm going to try not to cry, one of our classmates was going to graduate with us this year. But unfortunately, due to a car accident, she was not able to make it. And I guarantee you that she will be giving this speech instead of me. She was a member of SGA, KD, and many other things. I wish that Alyssa Hensey could be graduating with us. But unfortunately, she could not. If we could take a moment of silence, that would be great. Thank you. Okay. All right, thank you so much. Now on to the real reason that I'm up here. I'm also happy to give President Lynch the present of the class of 2021. Let me grab it, hold on. Let me flip my page. President Lynch, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us, and I feel that this gift is very suitable for how this year has gone. This gift was made by one of our students. Lennox Emery made this ginormous mask, and the class of 2021 has signed it, and I'm very thankful. It's all good. You're good. It's all good. Still want to throw up. Just a few more minutes. Just wait a few more minutes. I don't want to wait a few. No. Oh, okay. Okay, I can do that. Okay, but I wanted to thank you so much from the class of 2021 for being the president of our college.
Definitely the best mask.
Okay, that's it, I promise. Thank you so much.
You know, every year the students do give the president, the college, a gift. And every year it speaks to just the care and the compassion and the experience of what it has been to be your class. Now, over the years, they used to be a little bit more, I don't want to say impersonal, and every year they've become a little bit more about who you are and the experience that you've had. You may see outside my office door, there's a case that has little shoes in it. That was one year where everybody picked shoes out of a Barbie doll catalog. But this one, of course, means the world because it speaks to, again, your resilience and your fashion style, right? Yeah, and I'm really grateful, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm really grateful that it's not red. Thank you very much.
All right, now we come to the most important part of the ceremony. You ready? Okay. As Vice President for Academic Affairs, it is my pleasure to present these candidates for degrees. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree please stand and be recognized? Yay, she's mighty. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree please stand and be recognized? Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree please stand and be recognized? Assistant Professor John Hemphill will announce each candidate who crosses the stage to receive a diploma. Students graduating with honors are wearing a medallion symbolizing their achievement. Before we begin the presentation of diplomas, I ask that all candidates for degrees stand as President Lynch confers your individual degrees. President Lynch, on behalf of the faculty, I present these candidates for conferring of degrees.
So I'm going to ask you to just stop for a minute, to exhale for a minute. Sometimes the moments that matter most to us in our lives race by us because we're so engaged in all of this instead of all of this. Ritual matters. This is a ritual. Rituals express our culture's values, what we care about most. You think about baptisms, weddings, funerals, graduations. They speak to us about what we care about, and they mark our lives. They mark the progress and the important moments in our lives. They are, in so many ways, our memories. And I want you to remember this moment. You have earned it. I know. One of you said to me out in the hallway, it's happening so fast. I can't even believe it's happening. And I know after I walk out of here, I'm going to be like, oh, right? And I get that, and you will. But I want you to take this moment just for a second right now in front of everyone who loves you so much. And just run in your heads, just really quickly, who you've become, how you've done it, the experiences that you've had, late nights, early mornings, whatever, to bring you to this moment. Because those moments and that experience and being at Stevens and everything you've given and everything you've received have made you who you are at this moment, have built on all of this that have been given to you to help you become the extraordinary, unique human being that you are at this moment. So at this moment, you are not yet really Stevens grads. I know, but it's the last time in your lives where that will be true. Okay, here we go. By the authority of the state of Missouri, given to the trustees of Stevens College, and entrusted to me by them, I hereby award to you, upon recommendation of the faculty, the degrees that you have earned during the course of your studies at Stevens College, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining, in token whereof we shall present you with your diplomas. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations. Come on, everybody. Woo-hoo. Okay, everybody, I'm going to ask you to get up on your feet. This is a moment. Come on, everybody, stand up. Let's give it to them. Come on. Wave at the people you love. Okay, now you can be seated. So as the graduates line up, I have to say that I'm a hugger, and not people I don't know, but of our students. And but this year, of course, because of COVID, I can't, and I can't even shake their hands. So I'm going to have to stand over in the corner and go, congratulations, from afar. But know that my heart is there.
Ella Grace Witt, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Musical Theater, Latin Honors, magna cum laude, and a Stevens Scholar. Alexandra Marie Holder, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Management, Latin Honors, summa cum laude, and a Stevens Scholar. Morgan Evelyn Puckett, Bachelor of Science in Biology, minor chemistry. Shanti Regal Clark, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Musical Theater. Leanne Barnett, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Communication, minor digital filmmaking, Latin honors, summa cum laude. Nicole Alexandra Bidwell, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design and Product Development. Mother Lisa Kirkland Bidwell, class of '90, will hand her diploma, and her grandmother Vicky Delvise Kirkland, class of 1963 and 1977. Hannah Elizabeth Brashears, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Musical Theater, Latin honors with honors. Melanie Elaine Brooker, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts, Latin honors, summa cum laude. Issa Jelani Buck, Bachelor of Science in Health Science. Jessica Nicole Carthron, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design and Product Development. Precious Imani Clark, Bachelor of Science in Human Development. Miranda Deanne Cooper, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Creative Writing, minor Women's Studies, Stephen Scholar. Olivia Rebecca Cope, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theatrical Costume Design. Cyan Lanai Crockett, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts. Alexis Cross Tunley, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance. Amanda Marie Debevec, Bachelor of Science in Event and Convention Management, minor Graphic Design, Latin honors, summa cum laude. Hannah Grace Dobson, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Digital Filmmaking. Gwendolyn Ruth Douglas, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts and Design Art, minor Creative Writing, minor Small Business Management and Ownership. Hannah Jo Durbin, Bachelor of Science in Event and Convention Management, minor Graphic Design. Diploma presented by Hannah's mother, Roseanne Carter Durbin, class of 1978. Also remembering Hannah's grandmother, Barbara Dale Carter Owen, class of 1952 and 1987. Courtney Alexis Elliott, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Communication. Diploma presented by Courtney's sister, Colby Elliott, class of 2015. That would be something. Tatiana May Epperson, Bachelor of Science in Human Development, a Stevens Scholar. Desiree Alexandra Fernandez, Bachelor of Science in Human Development. Jasmine Kashmir Flores, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. Mia Elizabeth Gale, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Musical Theater. Adriana Nicole Green, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. Sydney Che Heffley, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Management, Latin honors, magna cum laude. Ashton Elaine Henry, Bachelor of Science in Integrative Human Biology. Samantha Marie Holden, Bachelor of Science in Biology, minor Chemistry, Latin honors, summa cum laude, and a Stevens Scholar. Magdalena Christine Johnston, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts. Nicole Leland Kelly, Bachelor of Science in Event and Convention Management. Addie Claire Kirschner, Bachelor of Science in Human Development. Katie Jean Kitchell, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design and Product Development, Latin Honors Magna Cum Laude, and a Stevens Scholar. Ashley Nicole Knight, Bachelor of Science in Education, Latin Honors Magna Cum Laude, and a Stevens Scholar. Oh, we have Waylon Michael Black here, and look at this gentleman. Alyssa Jacoby Cossi, Bachelor of Science in Equestrian Studies, Latin Honors Cum Laude. Hannah Christine Keek, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Communication, Latin Honors, Summa Cum Laude. Saffron Brooke Lancaster, Bachelor of Science in Health Science. Morgan Lin Lang Westmoreland, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design and Product Development. Amber Ann Lehman, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Creative Writing, a Stevens Scholar. Virginia Caroline Lester, Bachelor of Arts in Apparel Studies, minor Design Arts. Mariah Ray Lindsay, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts, Latin Honors, Cum Laude. No worries. Asher Lipscomb, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theatrical Costume Design. Bo Lucas, Bachelor of Science in Health Science, Latin Honors, Summa Cum Laude. Shelby Alexis Mahaney, Bachelor of Science in Biology, minor Psychology, a Stevens Scholar. Reagan Catherine McCutcheon, Bachelor of Science in Fashion Marketing and Management, minor Graphic Design, Latin Honors, Cum Laude. Kayla Lynn Mize, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Digital Filmmaking. Mariah Gabrielle Montoya, Bachelor of Science in Strategic Communication Design. Ariana Elizabeth Neal, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Music, Vocal Performance, Latin Honors, Summa Cum Laude, and a Stevens Scholar. Claire Elizabeth Nelson, Bachelor of Science in Fashion Marketing and Management. Chloe Lee Neonquit, Bachelor of Science in Human Development, diploma presented by Mother Karen Neonquit, class of 1977. Michaela Shauna Lorraine Orchard, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts. Christina Ray Parker, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Digital Filmmaking, Bachelor of Science in Strategic Communication and Integrated Marketing, Latin Honors, Magna Cum Laude, and a Stevens Scholar. Kayla Lynn Parks, Bachelor of Science in Fashion Marketing and Management, Latin Honors, Cum Laude. Elena Lucretia Patterson, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Management, minor Digital Filmmaking, a Stevens Scholar. Rachel Marie Paul, Bachelor of Science in Human Development, minor Psychology. Mary Catherine Pena, Bachelor of Science in Education, a Stevens Scholar. Rachel Maureen Perkins, Bachelor of Science in Education. Kaylin Monet Perkins Walker, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Communication. Ida Ray Pischel, Bachelor of Science in Health Science, Latin Honors, Magna Cum Laude. Emma Jane Pop, Bachelor of Science in Human Development, Latin Honors with Honors. Imoni Kiana Prince, Bachelor of Science in Biology. Kaylee Lynn Ramus, Bachelor of Science in Event and Convention Management, Latin Honors, summa cum laude. Abby Jo Rich, Bachelor of Science in Education, Latin Honors, summa cum laude. Caitlin Ann Ritchie, Bachelor of Science in Psychology, minor Women's Studies, Latin Honors, summa cum laude, and a Stephen Scholar, diploma presented by Mother Kelly Wingate Campbell, class of 1984. Hannah Marie Ramo Robertson, Bachelor of Science in Strategic Communication, Integrated Marketing, minor Event Planning, Latin Honors, cum laude. Shaylin Mackenzie Saladin, Bachelor of Science in Event and Convention Management. Melanie Victoria Sanchez, Bachelor of Science in Biology, minor Chemistry. Christina Lottie Scott, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Creative Writing, minor Digital Filmmaking, a Stephen Scholar. Avery Alea Scheichels, Bachelor of Science in Education. Danielle Leah Simpson, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Musical Theater. Carissa Ruth Stevens, Bachelor of Science in Biology, minor Chemistry, Latin Honors, cum laude, and a Stephen Scholar. Suzanne Faulkner Tausig, Bachelor of Science in Fashion Marketing and Management. Grace Elizabeth Tillett, Bachelor of Science in Education, Latin Honors, magna cum laude, and a Stephen Scholar. Emerson Rose Van Ruckel, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Digital Filmmaking. Julia Helena Volo, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts and a Stephen Scholar. Chelsea Lynn Ward, Bachelor of Science in Education. Mercedes Alexiana Waters, Bachelor of Science in Event and Convention Management, Latin Honors, magna cum laude. Shelby Anne Marie Wessing, Bachelor of Science in Health Science, minor Psychology. Emily Aurora Whistler, Bachelor of Science in Biology, minor Chemistry. Jamie Janelle Whitmer, Bachelor of Science in Human Development, minor Women's Studies. Roe Wolf, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts.
No pressure or anything, you know. We have to hurry. Yeah, thank you, Lita. We'll do that in a minute when everybody's done. We're going to be patient for 1 minute. Right, now's the time. Everybody, applause, please. Congratulations. Yeah! Woohoo! This is it. Thank you. They love you, you know. So, okay, congratulations. So, one of the greatest gifts, and there are lots of them, of being the president of Stevens College, is this moment right now at commencement when I get to be the very last one during this ritual and moment to speak to you before you head out into the world, into your next amazing, extraordinary, great adventures. It's called a charge, but it's really just a few final words, a chance for me to say to you all of the things I've wanted to say. And I haven't seen you quite as often because of COVID as I usually see our seniors, so these might be a little longer. It's one of those things, it's like before you go out the door, you know, you say, well, just wait a minute, I just need to tell you this one thing. And oh, wait, like I forgot, can I just tell you this? And don't forget that, right? Like that. It's my hope that somewhere in all of these little pieces of advice and direction, and I hope wisdom, that something resonates. And then you take it with you, and it reminds you of Stevens. And so, to begin, I hope you are brave. I hope you choose the hard things, whatever those things might be, and they will be different for each one of you. I hope you don't do things halfway, or with fear, or by holding back. I hope you succeed. I do. But if you don't, I hope you fail spectacularly, because that means you will have tried to do something harder and bigger and more amazing. And you will be better for having done that no matter what else happens. I hope you are as resilient every day for the rest of your lives as you have been this year. I hope you don't apologize. I hope you don't apologize. Don't apologize. Just don't, unless you do something really terrible, and then think about what you're going to say. But none of this, sorry, oh, sorry, sorry. I hope that when you are ready to say sorry, I used to have a jar in my office, and I said if I heard one of our students say sorry, they owe me $5, right? Well, I won't be there, but remember the $5, right? Don't apologize. You have nothing to apologize for. Your presence, your language, your thoughts, your being. No reason to apologize. I hope you nurture a life of the mind. I hope you are an intellectual, a person engaged by great ideas and gripped by curiosity. And that means I hope you continue to read. I hope you get yourself a Kindle account. And I hope you commit to reading one book a month. Think how much more interesting you will be at the end of a year if you read one book a month. They don't even have to be long books. Not that you don't like to read. It's just busy. And I have two suggestions. The first one is called This is Water by an incredible writer named David Foster Wallace. This is Water. And the second one is The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, the poet who spoke at the inauguration of the president. This is Water, The Hill We Climb. They will remind you, as your Stevens College education has reminded you, that reading widens our horizons and deepens our understandings of the world. And this in ways that TikTok and Snapchat and Insta just don't. You learn other things from those. I hope you say yes first. It's my mantra. We say yes first, and we work our way back to no one step at a time. It's always the next decision. It's never the last one. Do not be gripped by inaction. Have a tendency to act. The decisions that you are making are not the last decisions you are making. They're just the next ones. You can decide, and then you can decide again. And that means, I hope you stop worrying about yesterday. Regret is the most useless human emotion there is. I wish I hadn't. I wish that didn't. I can't believe I said that. No. You can't go back. There's no do-overs. You don't need do-overs. You can't change what happened. But what you can change is what happens next. And I hope you write thank you notes. That little piece of paper with real-life penmanship on it says things that no email could ever say. It says, I took the time. I got this thing. I put words on it. Even in my terrible penmanship, I have terrible penmanship. I write a lot of thank you notes. I hope people don't mind. I'm pretty sure they don't. I hope you remember that nobody cares about you as much as you do. That is not an insult. It's permission. It's permission to stop allowing the perspectives or the opinions of others to shape your own, about your life, about your experiences, about your self-worth. How many times have you come out of some kind of an event and think, I can't believe I did that, I can't, and then you think, has anybody else thought about that? I promise you they haven't. Nobody matters to anybody else as much as we matter to ourselves, right? I don't know, it's a personal question, but I'd be surprised if you all haven't had that moment where you think, oh, maybe you wake up one morning and think, oh, right? Nobody cares, really. We all just move on. It's really okay. Don't worry about it. Nobody cares about you as much as you do, and that's permission. I hope you listen. Nobody learns while they're talking. And I hope you don't overshare, especially at work. Remember that one, right? Our lives are drama. They're personal drama. I hope you ask for what you want. Here's a little secret about why women earn less than men. I mean, there's lots of reasons. It's historical, it's cultural. Part of it has to do with the fact that women are child bearers and primary child caregivers in most cases. And unlike most others, this is as political as I'm going to get today. Unlike most other civilized nations in the world, ours doesn't seem to think that matters as much as it does. But there's another part of that that you can control in your own life, starting now. Because at that critically important moment, when a potential employer offers a potential employee a potential starting salary, men ask for more, and women do not. There's all kinds of data that supports that. I can tell you from having hired hundreds of people in my career, it's true. So much so that literally when I make an offer to a prospective employee and I make her an offer, a job offer with a salary, and that prospective employee says, okay, I say, no, don't do that. What's the matter with you? You don't say yes. At least say, I'll think about it, right? And come back and tell me why you're worth more. There was like this stunned silence, right? And I always think to myself, that's probably not the greatest thing to do for Stevens College's finances. But you know, mission matters more. Always ask for more. It really makes a difference where you start. Your starting point really makes a difference to where you end up, especially with salary. So always start by asking. I hope you define winning on your own terms. I hope you define everything on your own terms. But I hope you remember Lexi's words of advice about what it means to have it all. What is it? What is your it? Decide what your it is. For some of you, that will be having children, getting married right away, early. For some of you, it may mean never doing that. For some of you, you are going to be on Broadway and you are going to be the fashion designer. You're going to work for Dior. And for some of you, you're going to be writers. Maybe you'll go to Wyoming and live and spend a year in a fire tower watching for fires in the quiet and writing your first novel, which one of my former students did. You can have it all if you define what it is and you understand what that requires of you. And that means you need to make a decision about the life you want to lead and own it. Whatever that is for you is exactly the right thing for you. Because you can decide, and then you can decide again. I got my PhD when I was in my 40s. I had 4 children, 3 teenagers, and an infant. It was insane. But you know why I did it? Because I decided that I wanted to be the president of a college. I didn't know about this one, but when I saw the ad in the Chronicle for Stevens, I was like, there you go. There it is. That's why I did it. You can decide now, and you can decide again, and you can decide again. And I promise you, you will. Just remember, it's up to you. Having it all depends upon what it means to you, each and every one of you. I hope you live a life you're proud of. And I don't mean in the aggregate, looking back, memories. I mean every day, every hour. I used to say that I hope that whatever you do, you're happy and willing to put on a billboard across the street from your grandma's house. I don't know if I think that's true. But live a life you're proud of. I hope you see the invisible ones. I hope you stop on the street long enough to dig into your pocket and get that $5 you were going to spend at Panera or Starbucks and give it to that homeless man or woman. But more important, I hope you take the time to really look at that person as you give him or her that gift. Smile at them and wish them a good day. Because each of us, no matter how humble or destitute or troubled, has the birthright of human dignity. And that includes the right to be seen. I hope you commit every day to creating, supporting, and sustaining a world that embraces difference, demands justice, speaks truth not just to power, but to lived experience, and recognizes in ways both large and small that human dignity is not a zero-sum game. If you have it, I don't lose it. And that freedom, justice, and opportunity are not commodities to be hoarded or guarded, but human rights to be nurtured and protected. And like love, perhaps the most essential human right, more is always better. And finally, I hope you remember Stevens the way one of our graduates described her time here. And some of you who were at the senior toast heard me read part of this, but I want to share it with you. She wrote it as a letter when I first got here, and I was new, and it was on my desk when I came into my office. And I keep it in my desk, a reminder of what we are when we are at our best. So here's what another Stevens graduate, woman, student, alum now, had to say. It's difficult to put into words the essence of Stevens College. Stevens is a magical place where strong, independent women come to learn from each other's strengths. Stevens students are an enormous part of what makes Stevens great. We are strong, independent, ambitious, hardworking, and courageous. We have a variety of talents, backgrounds, and interests. The fact that we are different is irrelevant. We put our differences aside in order to succeed. I am a living example of the power of Stevens to transform. Stevens has been the birthplace of my creativity. I have found a deep sense of direction and purpose. For the first time in my life, I know who I am and where I am going. I am a Stevens woman just waiting to take the world by storm. Stevens is a place where dreams come true. It has awakened in me dreams I didn't know I had and made them a reality. I can honestly say there's no place I'd rather be. Please don't underestimate the difference we make. We are small in numbers, but we have an enormous, unconquerable spirit. That spirit lives on in each and every one of you. I hope it inspires, sustains, and connects you to your best selves, to one another, and to Stevens for the rest of your lives. Congratulations. please join us. I ask the audience remain at your seat until the students have processed out, and then, of course, you can gather. And please join us in singing the Stevens Hymn, which is in your programs, led by our amazing graduating senior, Shanti Clark.
Stevens, our Stevens.